Unless you've been living under a rock, you will have noticed that MG has become a major force in the Australian new car market in a very short period of time, largely on the back of affordable models like the MG3 and the ZS. This is the new ZS. It's the brand's rival to the likes of the Toyota Corolla Cross and the Hyundai Kona. But this one is very different. It's got new features, it's got a more premium design, and it's got a hybrid powertrain under the bonnet, which also means it's more expensive. So, can this live up to the standard set by its predecessor? Let's find out. Like I said, price is a major point of focus for MG. A large part of its success has been built on its value, especially against its more established Japanese and Korean rivals. The Hybrid, or ZS Hybrid Plus to give its full name, is arriving a few months ahead of the rest of the ZS lineup, which will be petrol powered only and likely carry a lower price, but still expected to be a step up from the current range. Even so, the ZS Hybrid Plus is priced from $33,990 for the Excite and $36,990 for the Essence. And notably, those are drive-away prices, which means the MG undercuts its key rivals on price still, even if it is moving the brand into slightly more expensive space. However, noticeably absent is an all-new electric ZS, which has been dropped for this new model. Instead, MG will introduce a new standalone small electric SUV later in 2025. If you want to know more about the ZS, make sure you read my in-depth written review at carsguide.com.au. The look of the new ZS is a clear step forward for MG, moving away from its more generic copycat look and towards a unique image for the brand. This is an all-new model according to the brand, and while it has a connection to the previous ZS, MG is clearly growing in confidence to do its own thing, including its MG family face that it shares with the MG3 and the bigger HS SUV. However, it's an inoffensive design, nothing too risky that could offend potential rivals, so it doesn't stand out either. On the inside, the looks are a bit conservative and derivative still, with MG opting not to push the boat out, so to speak, despite offering a pair of 12.3-inch screens that could have made for a very modern, tech-focused and stylish cabin. From a practical point of view, the cabin is very thoughtfully laid out. MG has clearly paid a lot of attention to making it a very user-friendly cabin. You've got plenty of little storage shelves in the center console. There's no wireless smartphone charging pad, but there's a couple of places to pop your phone. You've got cup holders, you've got the center console box, very large door pockets in the front, and you've got a small shelf in front of the passenger seat. So there's plenty of storage. You know, very handy for this kind of small-sized SUV. While still very much a small SUV, MG has extended the length of the ZS, and a lot of that extension has come in the wheelbase to make it a bigger cabin. So even though this is a small SUV by definition, it's actually got probably the amount of rear space you could reasonably expect in a decent mid-size SUV. It's quite roomy back here. You know, maybe not great for the longest of trips, but certainly for, those city runabouts, if you've got to put small kids or your friends in the back, it's got plenty of space. In terms of boot space, MG has packaged the battery underneath the rear seats and opted for a tyre repair kit instead of a spare, so there is a sizable boot with 443 litres of luggage room. Under the bonnet, the ZS Hybrid Plus features a 1.5 litre petrol engine paired with an electric motor and a 3-speed ratio hybrid transmission. The total system output is a healthy 150 kilowatts and 465 newton meters. The electric motor draws its power from a 1.83 kilowatt-hour battery, which isn't the common lithium-ion type, but actually uses nickel, cobalt, magnesium, which MG claims is better for the common discharging and recharging it will do in the ZS. Fuel consumption is rated at 4.7 litres per 100 k's, which is solid, but not class leading for the small SUV segment, especially against the ZS's direct rivals, the Toyota Corolla Cross and the Hyundai Kona. As for how it drives, well, MG's done quite a good job in terms of, making this new model feel a step above the old. We've driven it across a variety of conditions today, around the city, onto the freeway, and a bit of, country back road kind of experience that we've got now. And I've got to say, it's impressed across all avenues. It certainly feels quieter than the old model. It does feel a bit more, sophisticated, a bit more premium. Certainly not a premium car, but it does feel a step above the old model. It handles quite well. The steering's direct. In fact, I'd say the steering is another one of those things that feels a clear step above the old model. Again, you're not going to throw it into corners, but in terms of the weighting is quite good. It feels, it's quite accurate. It doesn't have any of the sort of some of the numbness that the old model could have, which made, driving it less enjoyable. And then the ride comfort is quite good. It's still a little firm at times, but overall, I think it does a very good job. As for the engine, which is obviously the main attraction in this updated model, obviously the petrol engines will come next year, as I've said before. The hybrid system does a good job. You can play around with it. It's got different settings, eco, sport. You can play around. There's the dashboard can show you all the different systems and how it's all working, whether it's taken from the battery or taken from the petrol engine or a combination of both. But realistically, all you need to worry about is just driving the car, and it's going to do a good job of, getting you around quietly and quite efficiently. An hour driving today, like I said, across a variety of conditions, we're seeing a return on the dash of 5 litres per 100 Ks, which is not that much over, the official claimed figure. So I would imagine with a bit more urban driving, where the hybrid is, the electric motor is doing a bit more of the work, you probably actually get quite close to that claim. And that is it's a strong argument for, making the switch to the hybrid and paying a bit more. Not that the car is perfect. There are some issues, some problems that frankly I'm not a huge fan of. The biggest one for me is actually the fact it doesn't have reach adjustment on the steering, which is kind of baffling in this day and age, particularly as MG says this is on a new platform. So they've spent a lot of time on the practicality of the interior, the powertrain, and then to overlook something like that, to me, is a real head scratcher, because it means ultimately you may not find your ideal driving position. Certainly for me personally, I'm not a fan. This is not exactly how I would like it, and I think, frankly, it's an easy fix, and I don't understand why it hasn't been done. But overall, they have made it feel like an improvement over the model it replaces in the way that it drives. In terms of safety, both the Excite and the Essence get the MG suite of active safety features. This includes a raft of now common safety elements such as autonomous emergency braking, lane keeping assist, and the like. Whether or not that's enough to earn a 5-star rating from the ANCAP Safety Authority remains to be seen, as MG has a mixed record when it comes to safety scores, achieving both 5 and 0 stars for different models in the last 12 months. As for its ownership credentials, MG covers all of its models with a lengthy 10-year, 250,000 kilometre warranty. The ZS Hybrid Plus is also covered by a 5-year capped price servicing plan, which will set you back $1,232 over that period. The MG ZS Hybrid Plus continues the brand's evolution in Australia. Yes, it's a more expensive proposition, but it's also a more premium and more efficient option too. There are still some areas MG can work on to make it even better, namely being braver with the design and fine-tuning the ride and handling. But for anyone looking for a frugal, spacious, small SUV at a strong price point, this new ZS will have appeal. And it will no doubt help MG continue its strong run of success in Australia. But if you want to know more, make sure you check out my in-depth written review at carsguide.com.au.